Week 3 of training consisted of lower back issues, meditation and Harry Potter references. Oh yeah, I did some running. This week's schedule was a 6km easy run, a 7km long run, a 4km tempo run for a total weekly distance of 17km. The distance was dialed back this week, which allowed me to focus a little bit on the recovery. Okay, so into the runs. The first run of the week was a 6km easy run. As always, I started with my warm-up. I was feeling incredibly stiff and my joints were making some crazy noises. With the joints warmed up and the classical vibe selected, we were ready to go. After the longer distance runs of last week, it felt nice to throw in some short runs to compare the progress from the first week. I did my normal evening route, which I can do in one loop for a 6k run. I know I said in last week's video that I tend to put 10ks over short 5 to 6ks, but this was my favourite run of the training so far. I felt super energised and up for this one. I did have quite a late lunch, which may have been a contributing factor. Normally when I do my runs, I haven't eaten in about 7 hours. I also don't eat breakfast, so I train in a reasonably fasted state. Or it could be that now I've done 3 weeks of training, I'm basically a pro runner. The only downside of this was that I got a minor stitch about halfway through, which could be due to the late eating, or just the fact that I got a little bit carried away at the start and probably wasn't breathing properly. Seriously though, if anyone has any tips on how to get rid of a stitch mid-run, should it come on, I would love to hear it. I can't imagine having to do an extra 15k with an annoying stitch. I finished the run in 32 minutes 20 at an average pace of 5:21 per kilometre. It's a nice steady one to kick off the first run of the week. With regards to gym sessions this week, I've actually taken a little bit of a step back. If you've watched the videos from the previous week, you'll know that I've been complaining quite a lot about having a dull lower back pain, kind of sciatic pain down the back of my leg. I saw a consultant this week and there is a chance that I've either got a trapped nerve or potentially a slight disc bulge. It's irritating the sciatic nerve, or it could be neither of those things. I don't fully know yet for sure. I'm waiting to book in scans to confirm exactly what's going on. Until I know, probably going to limit myself at the gym, which it's going to be tough, but I think the right thing to do for now. The last thing that I want to do is aggravate it further by doing exercises that I'm not meant to be doing. I already felt a little bit of that a couple of weeks ago, particularly when I was doing a twisting mobility session that didn't even involve weights, and I woke up the next day with quite noticeable sciatic pain down my right leg. But once I have the scans, I know what's going on. I can start implementing a few different exercises to rectify whatever the issue is, so I will keep you posted. The next run of the week was a 7km long steady run. This was just a nice steady run for 7km at a conversational pace. Because of last week's 11km run, the thought of doing a 7km run didn't feel that bad at all. I managed to tweak my evening route slightly as well, so that one loop is around 7km, which works quite nicely. I got straight into the warm-up, had some quick pre-run hydration, put a little bit of J. Cole on for motivation, and I was off. This again was a super enjoyable run. I didn't feel the need to stick to any particular time, so I just ran at whatever pace felt comfortable and that I felt that I could maintain. This overtook the 6km run as my favourite run of the training so far. It's one of the many reasons I love running and I've started doing it more frequently. Running is such a great form of meditation. Meditation is perceived to be this thing where you have to be a Tibetan monk in order to master it and requires hours and years of sitting around doing nothing. I'm not going to lie, I find it really difficult to just sit still and do nothing, so running is the next best thing for me. It's really hard to describe, but you enter this flow state where you just let your thoughts enter and leave your mind without putting too much stress on any one of them, which then in a weird way fully frees up your mind, so you feel like you aren't truly thinking about anything. The best analogy I can give is that scene in Harry Potter where there are a load of letters floating around the room and it's absolute chaos. That's my brain pre-run. Then, whilst you're on a run, you have someone just slowly and calmly organising the letters into the correct slots, stripping away all the emotion and making you feel good. The fact I'm using Harry Potter scenes to describe the feeling of running meditation suggests I'm probably missing a few letters anyway. I did this run on the Wednesday, which is super useful as well, as it serves as a mini halfway checkpoint. Whilst I'm on a run, I can think about and process everything that's happened at the start of the week and make a little bit of a plan for the remaining days ahead, which feels great and keeps me super motivated. I could have definitely ran a little bit further on this one, but I was conscious it was getting late and I wanted to minimise its impact on my sleep as much as possible, so I called it a night after completing the 7km. I finished the run in 38 minutes 35 seconds with an average pace of 5:29 per kilometre. I felt very comfortable at that pace, which is good if I'm wanting to run the half marathon in under 2 hours. My heart rate told a pretty similar picture. I stayed within zones 1 to 3 for the majority of the run, creeping into a little bit of zone 4 heart rate at the start and at the end of the run. The final run of the week was the complete opposite of this. It was a short, intense run, heavily focused on pace over 4 kilometres. The first kilometres was at conversational pace, then 1km at 5:15, 1km at 4:35 with a 90-second rest, then 1km as a cool down. I chose to do it late Saturday night and it was absolutely freezing, but I had to get it done. The fact that this was just a quick 20-minute one definitely did help. I jumped into the warm-up to get things loosened up, and because of the pace in this run, the music choice had to be something to get me going, so I put on a bit of Future. As on my previous tempo run, the slow, steady warm-up was all downhill, and the fast kilometres are all uphill, which again added to the challenge. I wanted to beat the suggested tempos rather than necessarily being absolutely bang on with them. The final kilometre was intense. I wanted to run at a pace that I felt I could comfortably do for around 20 minutes or so I increased to this pace on this kilometre to push it to my limits. I don't know what it is, but I keep forgetting about the little 90-second rest periods in between the final lap and the cool down. Again, I ran for about half the 90-second rest period too before I realised. I finished the run in just under 22 minutes with the following splits. Kilometre number 3 was the one I properly went for, coming in at 4:14 per kilometre, which made me appreciate how quick the people that are running under 4 kilometres per minute for distance are going. Like, fair play. My heart rate was mainly in zones 3 and 4 for this one, and it was interesting to see which part of the run creeps into zone 5. I also got these new best efforts, which rounds off the week nicely. Week 3 done. As always, if you have any questions about any part of the training, please leave them in the comment section below and subscribe to make sure you don't miss week 4, which starts to ramp up the longer distances again. See you then.